Right now, somewhere in your abdomen, an organ the size of your hand is making a decision that could kill you in minutes if it gets wrong. Not over years, not over decades, minutes. It's not your heart. It's not your brain. It's a soft, unglamorous gland most people couldn't even point to. The pancreas. It's been quietly running the most dangerous balancing act in your entire body since the moment you woke up. Here is what almost nobody realizes. Blood sugar isn't just high is bad, low is bad. It's far more precise than that. Your brain runs almost entirely on glucose, and it cannot store it. No backup tank, no reserve fuel. If glucose in your blood drops too far, your brain starts feeling within minutes. Confusion, seizures, unconsciousness. But if glucose runs too high for too long, it acts almost like sandpaper inside your blood vessels, slowly damaging your eyes, kidneys, nerves, and heart. So your body needs glucose to stay inside an incredibly narrow window, roughly between 70 and 100 milligrams per deciliter when fasting, at all times, not most of the time, all the time, while you sleep, while you sprint, while you panic, while you binge on birthday cake. And the organ responsible for holding that line is the pancreas. Buried inside the pancreas are tiny clusters of cells called the islets of Langerhans, and inside those islets are beta cells, which are essentially biological sugar sensors wired directly to your bloodstream. The moment you eat something with carbohydrates, your gut breaks it down into glucose, which flows into your blood. Beta cells detect that rise within seconds and respond by releasing insulin, a hormone that acts like a master key. Insulin travels through your bloodstream and unlocks your muscle cells, fat cells, and liver cells, allowing glucose to flow inside instead of building up in your blood. Here is the part that surprises people. Without insulin, the glucose from that meal would just sit in your bloodstream, unusable, while your cells starve right next to an abundant fuel source. This is essentially what happens in type 1 diabetes. The beta cells are destroyed, insulin production stops, and the body becomes surrounded by fuel it physically cannot access. But insulin does something else most people don't know. It also tells your liver to take an extra glucose floating around and store it as glycogen, basically packing sugar away into long chains for later, like vacuum sealing food for winter. Now flip the scenario. You haven't eaten in hours. Maybe you skipped breakfast. Maybe you are asleep at 4 a.m. Blood sugar starts dropping towards that danger zone. This is where a second set of cells in the same islets, alpha cells, release the opposite hormone, glucagon. Glucagon does the reverse of insulin. It travels to the liver and essentially says, "Open the vault." The liver breaks down its stored glycogen back into glucose and releases it into the blood, pushing levels back up before your brain runs into trouble. This is the part that should genuinely surprise you. Your pancreas isn't one organ doing one job. It's running two completely opposite hormonal systems, insulin and glucagon, simultaneously, constantly adjusting their ratio, second by second, like a thermostat fighting both overeating and freezing at the same time. Most organs do one thing. The pancreas does two opposing things, perfectly balanced, for your entire life, without you ever noticing. But here is where it gets even stranger. This system doesn't just react to the food you just ate. It anticipates. Your pancreas actually receives signals before glucose even hits your blood. The moment food touches your mouth and stomach, gut hormones called incretins are released, essentially pre-warning the pancreas that glucose is incoming. So beta cells starts preparing an insulin response before blood sugar even rises. Your pancreas isn't just reactive, it's predictive. And it's not working alone. The pancreas is in constant communication with the liver, the brain, fat tissue, and even your muscles, all sending feedback signals about energy status. This is why something like chronic stress can quietly disrupt blood sugar. Stress hormones like cortisol push your liver to release glucose even when you haven't eaten, forcing your pancreas to work overtime in the background, completely outside your awareness. Most people picture the pancreas as a simple sugar valve. In reality, it's running a live, predictive, multi-organ negotiation thousands of times a day, and you only ever notice it when something breaks. And when it does break, the consequences move in two completely different directions. In type 1 diabetes, the immune system destroys beta cells, insulin disappears, and glucose builds up dangerously in the blood, while cells starve, requiring insulin injections to survive. In type 2 diabetes, the story is different. Insulin is still produced, but cells stop responding to it properly, a state called insulin resistance. The pancreas compensates by pumping out more and more insulin, working harder and harder until eventually it can't keep up. That's the unsettling truth hiding underneath a diabetes diagnosis. It's rarely a sudden failure. It's usually a multi-year exhaustion story. A tiny organ quietly overworking itself for years, trying to compensate for a system that has stopped listening, until the balance finally breaks. So the next time you eat a meal and feel completely fine 20 minutes later, not dizzy, not crashing, not foggy, understand what just happened behind the scenes. A small gland you've never consciously thought about just detected a flood of incoming sugar, calculated exactly how much insulin to release, coordinated with your liver and gut hormones, and rebalanced your entire bloodstream, all without a single conscious thought from you. It does this after every meal, every single day, for your entire life, silently, perfectly, until for some people, it doesn't anymore. Your body is running thousands of these hidden negotiations right now, and most of them you'll never know about. Subscribe for more body mysteries, because the strangest things happening inside you are the ones you'll never feel. A flood of incoming sugar, calculated exactly how much insulin to release, coordinated with your liver and gut hormones, and rebalanced your entire bloodstream, all without a single conscious thought from you. It does this after every meal, every single day, for your entire life, silently, perfectly, until, for some people, it doesn't anymore. Your body is running thousands of these hidden negotiations right now, and most of them you never know about. Subscribe for more body mysteries, because the strangest things happening inside you are the ones you never feel.